This is the guided problems. Also, it'll be your homework independent problems, which we're going to do in class. I'm going to do the evens. So it says find the length of each segment to start. Find the coordinate of the endpoint. So we're finding the distance of Q to T. So we're going to find the distance from Q to T. So we know that Q is going to be the absolute value of negative 2 minus 8. So it's going to be the absolute value of negative 10. So in this case, it's 10. So at home, what you can do is you can do problem 1. Okay? So the answer is 10. Problem number 4, we're going to use that number line there. So it says if G to H is 45, so we know that G to H is 45. And I know that G to I is 61. So I know that to find H, I, it's going to be G, I minus G, H. So GI is 61. GH is 45. So the distance from H to I will be the difference of 61 minus 45. So we have 61, 45, subtract. So we have 16. The distance is 16. So number 6, it says, tell whether the segments are congruent. To start, use the definition of distance. Use the coordinates of the points to write an equation for each distance. So we have C to D, and we got to find that distance. So we know that C is going to be negative 9, the absolute value of negative 9. And D will be minus a negative 4. So we know from Z to D is a negative 4. So we have that's a positive. So it's the absolute value of negative 5. In this case, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. FG, the distance of F to G, the absolute value is 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 minus 6. So it's the absolute value of negative 3. In this case, it's 3. So we know that they are not congruent because they have different measurements. From K to L is the same distance from L to M. So K to L is 8x minus 5. And then from L to M is 6x plus 3. I know they're the same distance, so I'm going to set them equal. 8x minus 5 equals 6x plus 3. So we're going to solve this equation by subtracting 6x from both sides. So 8x minus 6x, which is 2x minus 5, equals 3. We add 5 to both sides. So 2x equals 3 plus 5 is 8. Divided by 2, so x equals 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute into the distance from K to L. So we have 8 times 4 minus 5. So 8 times 4 is 32 minus 5. So the distance from KL is 27. The distance from K to L is 27. So just so you know, once again, the little markings means that these distance will be the same. So we set each expression equal to one another. We subtracted 6 from both sides, 6x. So we have 8x minus 6x gives you 2x. Then we added 5 to both sides, divided by 2, and then we substituted into the formula and we came up with the distance. Number 9, the way you were taught, we have the endpoints is negative 13. We have the endpoint, which is 23, and by the way, this is x and this is y. So what you're going to do, you have negative 13. You're going to find the distance, negative 13 minus 23. And so you're going to get negative 36, the distance. And this is from x to y. So the distance is 36. Then we are going to divide the distance divided by 2, which gives you 18. And so to find the midpoint, we're going to add 18 to negative 13 to find our midpoint. And I'm going to say m is for midpoint. So we have negative 13 plus 18, and that gives you 5. So the midpoint is 5. And I'll say m as a midpoint. Of course, it's not drawn to scale. So let me repeat. You got to find the distance. Once you have the distance, you divide by 2, 36 divided by 2. And then you add the distance, or what you have for a distance midpoint, added to the endpoint, and that's your new midpoint. So for number 11, it says on a number line, C is at negative 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a number line. And I have negative 6. And then we have D, which is 14. What is coordinate E if it's 1/4 the way from C? So this is C, and this is D. So I got to find the distance, right? So I'm going to find the distance. So I have negative 6 minus 14. Those are the coordinates, so it's going to be the absolute value of negative 20, which in this case it's 20. Now, you notice that it's a fraction, 1/4. So I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I were to divide by 4, then each distance would be 5. Each distance would be 5, and it's saying that it's 1/4 the way from C to D. So negative 6 plus 5 gives you negative 1. So that's going to be E. I repeat. The distance from C to D is 20 units. We know that it's 1/4, so I'm going to break it up into 4 pieces. So 20 divided by 4 gives you 5. So to get to E, it's going to be negative 6 plus 5, which gives you negative 1. What I'd like for you to do for homework, work on the even numbers. And then when we get together in class, we're going to work in partners, and then you'll turn in your homework, okay? Thank you.